Hello, everyone. Whew, it's freezing in here.
Oh, God. Okay, we're complaining.
Could this day get any worse? So, it is the 25th anniversary of Schindler's List, and this isn't like a Fathom event screening or anything like that. It's got a nationwide screening this weekend, and you've seen this movie before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that one girl in the audience didn't, apparently.
Okay, that's a story I need to tell. At some point.
I'm actually really glad there was an audience in there. Like,
really?
because it's kind of a really important movie.
Well, no, me too, but I thought, because we were talking about, like, oh, it'd be kind of cool for the only ones there. Not that we're gonna be like,
oh, shit. Well, great. Now I can't talk to... I don't know what Jerry Seinfeld was talking about. This is a hard movie to make out during.
I know, I was thinking that. I was like, you're making out during Schindler's List? It's like, I don't understand.
What's Newman's story? Going to see it by himself.
He's like sitting there.
Yeah.
But yeah, this girl I saw, she was...
She's like 18 or something. Was she the one who walked in, or who was the first one to walk in when we were there, and she was on her phone? It's like, is she in the right theater?
I know, I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, did you just see the movie? And she was like, oh yeah, my mom or something was like, saying we should see this. And I said, okay, cool. And I was like, okay, well, what'd you think? And she was like, no, it was pretty good.
It was kind of sad,
She was
it's
like,
kind of a bummer.
She was like, it was pretty sad.
It was pretty sad.
I was like, how old are you? And she
it's
was
like leaving Saving Private Ryan going like, that was kind of intense.
I know. I was like, I'm so glad I wasn't like that when I was 18.
She was walking in our phone earlier, and we were joking like she had a Team Schindler shirt on. Like, what other team are you on?
I'm more Team Eamon Goth.
If you're Team Eamon Girth, you're probably not at this movie. Like, we're gonna get into a spirited debate afterwards, like Twilight. So,
yeah. Anyways, about the movie.
Anyway, this is my first time seeing the movie in the theater. I did see it when I was younger because my dad and I rented it. Not terribly long after it. I remember they used to. I remember they did it once at least. Maybe they did it more than once. And they would show it like uncut and without commercials on like NBC or CBS or one of the networks. Yeah. It's been a while since I can think of them doing that. But I remember that, and I remember watching like parts of it then. And in school, we would watch certain scenes, like not all the way through.
Yeah, they would play it a lot with me too when we were in, during school. And
it wasn't the first movie of its kind that I saw. Because in school, I remember us in school watching The Hiding Place, and I want to say that was probably the first.
I've heard of that.
It's really good. It's kind of a bummer.
It was okay.
It's kind of sad,
It was kind of
sad. Like, so I remember my dad and I might have been in junior high, I can't remember. Both of us being like, we've not actually seen this all the way through. We probably should. So we went out and rented it, and we watched it. And I remember years later, my dad and I talking Spielberg, and my dad going like, I don't think I saw Schindler's List. And I go, yes, you did. We rented it.
How did you were there? Not
How do you forget?
Wait, is that the movie with the boy in the striped pajamas?
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Which is actually a pretty
Is that movie with that red shirt girl? Yes, yeah, with the coat. Yeah, that's the movie. But I'd not seen it in theaters before, so I was really glad that it's getting this release, and also it's like the only thing playing this weekend. At first I saw, because you and I were planning on going to see it, and then a few movies popped up on to be playing here this weekend, and it was like Boy Erased, Anna and the Apocalypse, and maybe Can I Ever Forgive You? And then suddenly they went away, Because I said to you, I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to go see a few other things on Thursday, so maybe we can see this weekend. And then they went away, and I was like, what was that about? But I was also like, okay, cool, because I really do want to go see this on the big screen.
Yeah.
I wish it was playing in the bigger theater that was in there. It was playing in one of the medium-sized ones, so I was like, all right, maybe I'll check Friday to see, because when you get them online, it'll show you what theater it's going to be playing in, or what screen it is. Tomorrow it's playing in the even smaller one. It's like,
Really?
yeah, it's playing over in 12. One of the ones in the far back. I was walking in, I'm like, you got fucking Possession of Hannah Grace on the giant screen in there? Really? This should be in D-Box, damn it.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Sad. Though, that they're not releasing it, like, on a big theater.
What'd you think of seeing it on the...
In 3D?
No,
IMAX?
I don't mean that. I mean, what do you think about the prospect of possibly seeing this in IMAX 3D? And in D-Box?
Whoa!
No.
That'd
I
be
mean, what'd you
even
think
more
about seeing
intense.
this in the theater?
Oh.
Did you cry?
I did cry. You didn't see me cry?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I cried.
Mm-hmm. What parts, honey? Since you're Team Schindler.
Oh my god, don't say that. A lot of the scenes.
So, like,
At least cried like 4 times.
sure.
But it wasn't like crying, but it was more like tearing up, and I did have tears rolling down my cheeks.
It's a movie that, I mean, any positive thing you can say about this movie is putting it really, really fucking lightly, because this is one of the most important films of the 20th century. It is the most important film Spielberg's ever done. It's a movie that, to call it powerful is, again, putting it lightly. It really, really is. And it feels so... There's moments where you can certainly see Spielberg in there, but it really is its own thing. He did a lot of different filmmaking techniques with this movie, considering all of the handheld that he did. Very little, if any, storyboarding, really giving it this, like, you are there documentary feel to it. This movie does look like every picture you've seen in history books from Auschwitz and elsewhere come to life. They are, the way hair is done, the way the film stock is, the way people look. It looks like all of that come to life before your eyes, and it puts you right there in with all of this.
Yeah, you feel like you're there.
Yeah, and it's it's a disturbing film, it's a haunting film, but also it does have a few humorous moments in it too.
Yeah, especially with, I want to say with Ray Fiennes, sometimes. Not saying he's funny.
Oh, he's hilarious. No, like, well, and it felt, it didn't feel out of place in the movie. There's a lot of funny lines they have to really show this arcing friendship between Ben Kingsley and Liam Neeson. Mm-hmm. How it starts out, and, you know, Ben Kingsley's doesn't really want to say gratitude or anything like that, to, by the end of it, they toast and he finally does drink at the end. There's some good lines that they have.
Yeah, totally.
Watching Liam Neeson manipulate Ray Fiennes through this movie,
Yeah, that's what I meant.
as well.
Yeah.
Their back and forth, how he kind of has to be buddy and act like friends with this guy, because what this movie shows that it does, it among other things incredibly well, is to show these two guys, Oskar Schindler and Gert, Ray Fiennes, who are two guys who are powerful, but use them for wildly different means. They both know that they're very, very powerful, but whereas Liam Neeson in this movie is using his strengths and skills as a businessman and a negotiator and a manipulator too. His charm, his charisma, we see how he is with various women in the movie. Yeah. He uses that to his strength to save 1,100 people. And in order to do that, yeah, he has to kind of pretend to be buddy-buddy with all of these people that are pure evil. And on the other side of that, you see Ray Fiennes' character also a powerful figure, but more so using it in a Caligula meets Claude Frollo kind of way. Like he gets off on being in control of all these people.
He's
and
sadistic.
Yeah, and sociopathic, and the camera gets really up close with him too, so that you can kind of be there in the same room with people that he's talking to, and when you're looking in his eyes in this,
They're like dead eyes.
yeah, you see there's no soul behind that. There's no empathy. There's no rational thought or anything like that. Charm, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Ray Fiennes was perfect in this movie. He totally is. Because you look into, like, they zoom up and you can tell, like, he's totally in this role.
Yeah.
Because you see his eyes are dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
his eyes are dead, and he's a villain in this movie that, at first glance, you would feel like you could maybe approach him. Because
he's charismatic.
Yeah,
and
and he's a good-looking guy in the movie as well. Part of why Steven Spielberg cast him in the film. So, but then you see him when you're up close, and it's just there's nothing there behind that. And there's a great scene in the movie where Liam Neeson, being a master manipulator in this film, is saying to him what real power isn't.
Yeah, that was a great scene.
Yeah, it's a brilliant scene, and it's brilliantly acted.
What
and
power is, yeah.
He tells him what power is when you go to the Emperor and you say that you fucked up. Yeah, sure, anyone can just point a gun and just fucking shoot and kill that guy and assassinate him. But what real power is when you look at him and the person knows that you have the power to do that, but you don't, and you pardon him. And then there's the sequence afterwards where Ray Fiennes is going around, like, sort of trying to do that. Like, he's like, okay, maybe, no one's told me about this kind of power before. Maybe I could try this. Maybe this will make me feel good about myself. But then it just reaches a point where at the end of the day, that's not what gets this guy off.
He even looks in the mirror and he says, "I pardon you."
That's not how this guy gets his rocks off. That's not the kind of power that he fetishizes or wants. And then that he just goes back and
him and
kills
Helen
that kid.
here is like, they're like, he has this obsession with her, and and he's like, I want to grow old with her, and it's like he just wants her, like it's like an
he wants
obsession.
ownership of this person.
Yeah,
like that she's his.
Yeah,
like because you see how he is with her versus how Oscar Schindler is with his people and the people that he's trying to save.
He's also very protective of her too, Schindler.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah, he's very, like, you can kind of see the contrast there. He's, like, very, he's very caring of her, and then you see him, Ray Fiennes with her, and he's, like, has, like, ownership.
Because Oscar Schindler sees her as a person, and Girth just sees her as something that he owns. Just as this kind of, like, his pet, his property, what he wants.
Yeah.
And
disgusting.
There are some intense scenes in this movie, man. Like
during like the cellar scene when he goes down there and he's like,
oh yeah,
that was intense.
Yeah, because right there, that's juxtaposed with those two people getting married. That's put in there with Oscar Schindler watching the woman dancing in front of him, and how different people are doing their power, and also the people getting married trying to keep some semblance of humanity through all of this. And even while there's all of these sequences where we are seeing people just get brutally murdered just like that, just quick like this. Like you could be standing there saying like we can't build this, it's gonna collapse the next day, and then you're fucking dead. People just in line are just standing there, the next thing they know they are fucking dead. And yet, like, Oscar Schindler in this movie knows that there's limits to the power that he has, and he kind of has to distance himself a little bit from that. So when Ben Kingsley is talking about how Girth put all these people in line and shot 25 out of 50 of them or something like that, and Liam Neeson has to say, well, what do you want me to do about that? There's
Yeah.
nothing I can do about this. Man, that scene where that gun isn't working, when
Oh my god.
that is the most intense scene in the fucking movie. That is the scene that
That
has
is
always
what- yeah.
stuck out to me ever since I first saw this film. Is
Yeah.
the hand of God coming down and saving this guy multiple
He's like,
times in the span of like a minute.
I know, he's like, oh, click, oh, it doesn't work again. Click, 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 and it's like, damn, if that was me, like, I'm like, oh my god. I would be
Yeah.
shitting my pants. There's that scene, and also, I would say the showers, or the gas shower scene.
Oh, yeah, because you don't know what the fuck's gonna happen in that scene.
Yeah.
These people are accidentally sent to Auschwitz, which is the worst mistake in human... Well, talk about a clerical error. Like,
God, and I've been to Dachau.
yeah.
Like, that's a really depressing
Well,
place
yeah.
to go to. And
Mm-hmm.
God, I can't even imagine, like, going there.
You've just been to Dachau, you never been to Auschwitz?
No.
Yeah, I watched the, neither have I. I mean, I've only outside of the country briefly when I was in Canada with you a couple of years ago. The documentary that was on Netflix for a while, I watched that.
It's depressing. You go there, and, like, I was, like, 8 when I went there. And I didn't really have, like, a full understanding of what the place was. But you can just go in there, and you can just tell it's this...
Like,
there's just,
yeah.
You just have this feeling. It's, like, not a good place.
Well, yeah.
Well, obviously. But I was, like,
I don't
8.
know, this place is
Well, I was
bad
8.
vibes. I know what you mean.
You know, like, I didn't have a full understanding. It's not like I was going there like, oh, this
Sure.
place is not cool.
I read where the little girl who plays the girl in the red dress, like Spielberg, for her to be in the movie or something like that, he said, like, okay, on the grounds you don't watch this movie till you're 18 or something like that. And then she did. It's an intense movie. Honestly, I think people younger than 18 should see this film.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age. Yeah, it's actually the most important movie you could be going to see in theaters right now. I'm really glad that they're putting this back out. This should be seen and revisited by a lot of people. It was alright. And then apparently she did watch it when she was 11 years old or something like that.
Really?
It was like, you're right, I had nightmares or something. Like, there's a lot of fascinating stuff you read about behind the scenes on here. Like, every day, Spielberg going back and watching Seinfeld because he's, needed some cheering up afterwards. Yeah. And they had... like Robin Williams playing over like speakerphone or loudspeaker or something like that.
Crowd.
Just so they had him playing on it just to kind of liven the mood and kind of keep spirits alive. And then he would later use some of that material as the genie or something like that. And Spielberg was doing this movie when, like, Jurassic Park was in post-production or something like that. Like, because both came out in 93. This was released limited in December of 93, I think. So, yeah, he wanted this to be his next movie, and the studio greenlit it on the grounds that he does Jurassic Park first, which happens a lot. So, yeah, doing both of this weird. That's me going back and forth between two movies that are, I mean, practically the same thing.
Yeah. Well, oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
You said that he wanted, who did he want?
Harrison Ford was like a top choice for Oscar Schindler, I think.
But Liam Neeson is top notch in this movie.
Oh yeah, Liam Neeson's great. Liam Neeson, he looks like a person that exists back then. Like the way he looks in this movie, he kind of looks like an old timey movie star in this film.
I also couldn't see Harrison Ford doing an accent like that.
You can see K-19, the Widowmaker.
No, I didn't.
I love Harrison Ford. And
No, I'm not saying I don't
Ford,
like him.
no, Harrison Ford declined, I think. Harrison Ford declined because, and he's probably right, too many people would see him as Indiana Jones or Harrison Ford, you know, and like Dustin Hoffman was in talks to be Ben Kingsley, and I can see that.
Dustin Hoffman?
Yeah, I could
see that.
But like there was some kind of miscommunication or something like that.
Miscommunication.
Yeah, Spielberg thought that he like declined or something when in reality he didn't, and there was some kind of miscommunication. I don't know.
Miscommunication? Oh, okay.
Well, maybe he was still in character as Mumbles from Dick Tracy.
But we should talk about Liam Neeson though. Mm-hmm. He's really good.
Now, I really like how they keep it in there to where, like, how he is still this kind of, like, cutthroat businessman.
He is, yeah.
And they keep in there, too, that he's a womanizer. Like, there's the really funny scene where he's interviewing, secretaries.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets closer and closer each time.
And then the, like, kind of traditionally unattractive woman is typing, like,
it's doing really with a cigarette hanging out of her mouth.
And she's, like, totally qualified for the job. And then he's just like...
Fine, whatever.
And then it cuts, and then he has all those secretaries behind him, and he's like... yeah, that was funny.
Yeah, there are really good moments like that with him in this movie. He's amazing in the movie, and I remember watching the Oscars when this won. I mean, I grew up watching the Oscars, but yes, a tub of popcorn. Oh yeah, this is a movie. Just sit there eating popcorn during. I was hungry.
I felt very inappropriate for doing that.
We were the only ones eating popcorn.
No, there was someone behind us.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like we weren't the only ones. I
know, like, and you had like this giant tub, and
it's a long movie.
I know, but I was like, I can't just be like.
I like that technically, like, yeah, this is a 3-hour and 15-minute movie, but I'm probably at the theater for less time tonight than I usually am. I'm usually at the theater because sometimes I have time between both movies, and so I'm usually at the theater from like 6 to midnight or something like that. This is a 3-hour, 15-minute movie, but it's kind of an early night for me. So yeah, what was I saying?
I interrupted
at the Academy Awards, where like Spielberg had been snubbed for so long.
Did he win?
No, he did. Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah, he won for this movie. Because they were like, well, shit, we've snubbed him for so long. We got to give it to him for this. He had done movies.
This is his first win?
It's his own, or no, wait, this isn't his only win for Best Director. Yeah, this was his first win for Best Director, and I don't know if because he had movies that were nominated for Best Picture, like E.T.
Oh, I'm sure,
Jaws, Raiders, maybe, I think, but he'd been snubbed for director. I don't think he had gotten a nomination before this.
Weird.
Or did he for Color Purple? I can't remember.
But anyway, he did that.
Yeah. So anyway, he finally got that. He finally got it for this movie because, like fucking hell, they're not going to give this movie director a Best Picture.
It was a little bit. It was kind of sad.
It's too sad, man. Too sad.
What did Liam Neeson get one?
I don't remember if he was nominated. I'm pretty sure Ralph Fiennes was nominated.
He should have been. He was great in this.
Yeah, this is one of the best screen villains of all time.
Would you call him a villain?
Yes, he's a villain. He's the guy who pulls out.
No, I didn't say he was.
Would you really call that Hitler guy a villain? I mean, you know.
I wouldn't.
Who doesn't miss the toothbrush mustache? Without him, we wouldn't have gotten Great Dictator.
Let me talk. I didn't mean like villain. I meant like not like the like this kind of villain. I meant like more like a villain where it's like.
He's a villain.
Okay. I didn't mean it. Now you screwed me up.
I'm sorry. Did I mess you up?
I meant like he's not like
he's
a villain. When I think of a villain, I think of like a cartoony villain.
That's a certain kind of villain.
Okay, you know what? Now everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, she's not
I don't like this movie. I didn't like it when the hero got killed at the end.
Stop. Don't flinch. I don't. Stop.
So, I mean, he's like,
You know what I mean?
no, he's not Dick Dastardly, but like, that's a certain kind of villain.
Now everyone's gonna think I look stupid.
No. Don't you think he was a really good villain in this?
No, he was. Stop.
I'm sorry, sweetie. I'm sorry.
Now he looks stupid.
No, you don't.
Everyone's
No,
gonna be
you
like,
don't.
oh, she's pro-Nazi now. I don't
No,
believe
they
it.
won't, honey. They're gonna be wondering why I didn't take Irving to go see this movie. Well, where would you put? So,
No, he's a really good villain. I'm sorry.
would you put him like high up
I would
there?
say he's an antagonist or something.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he is.
I wouldn't say villain. When I think of villain, I think of something else. But I guess I'll get off that topic.
All right. I
'cause
mean, like, I
feel like I'm digging
he's a
myself deeper.
No. I know what you're trying to say. Like, I mean, he is a certain kind of villain. Like, it's the difference between. Okay, I'll put it to you like this. It's the difference between. Let's put it in Disney terms. It's the difference.
Okay, I wasn't saying.
It's the difference between Cruella de Vil and Frollo.
Yeah.
Like, one is maybe and you know that
Very
kind
black
of
and white.
that kind of cartoony over the top villain. Like, let's throw like, not that they're not effective certainly, but let's throw, you know, like Ursula in there and some other parts and some other characters versus somebody like Frollo, who is like real world villain.
Yeah, that's what I
Like,
mean.
no, I know what you're trying to say. I'm just fucking with you. But yeah, I mean, like, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, he is a villain.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought he was a good villain.
Oh. No, he totally is.
Yeah.
He's probably one of the best parts of the movie because he's so scary.
Oh, just like that iconic shot where he's just got his like skinny man gut hanging out because he put on like 30
he
pounds
drank a lot of
right in
beer.
here for Guinness from drinking Guinness. That iconic shot where he's just standing out there on the ledge with the sniper rifle. Yeah.
Yeah, he drank a lot of beer, I think is what I read.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was specifically. I think it was Guinness. I think. I mean, that's, if you want to do it, yeah, that'll probably be one to pick.
A beer gut.
So yeah. No, I definitely. If you haven't seen this in a long time, revisit it again. If you haven't seen it at all, it's the perfect opportunity to go see it because it's playing in theaters again. And yeah, I know it's a hard
It's a
sit.
downer, man.
It's a hard sit. It's brutal. It's realistic. It is evil put right there on film. It is the worst.
It's also very relevant.
Yeah,
to this day.
it is the worst that humanity can do put on film. And it shows us a time that, like, feels like it was so long ago, but it is less than 100 years ago.
It's really not that long
Like,
ago, man.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, when you asked me, you were like, do you want to see this? And I was like, man.
Hell
I
yeah!
was like, hell yeah! No, I was like, no, man, this sounds like a downer. I was like, man, I don't want to see this on the big screen.
Yeah,
like,
you
I
do.
like,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm glad I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, I understand, like, thinking like, I don't know if I want this is pretty heavy. I don't know if I want to do it. Go see it. Go see it in theaters if you haven't seen it. Suck it up. Revisit this movie again.
It's an emotional chore, but it's worth it.
Yeah, absolutely it is. I'm glad I actually got to see it in theaters. So all right, everyone. I don't know what else. There are a couple of things playing that I haven't gotten to yet. There's The Wife and
The Wife.
I haven't tended to The Wife yet. And Green Book. I haven't seen that yet either. So there are a couple of things playing that I haven't gotten around to see. Maybe I'll try to get a chance to this weekend. So all right, everyone. Thanks a bunch for watching. Take care. We're gonna de-ice this car a little bit and go warm up. So see you guys.
Bye.